Wake up, Tucson. It's your town. Get up and get involved. It's Wake Up Tucson with Chris DeSimone and Joe Higgins.
All right, welcome back to the Wake Up Tucson show. Christopher DeSimone, Joe Higgins. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning, sunshine.
And the great Ed Alexander.
Morning, gentlemen. Nice sunrise, huh? Nice cloudy things.
Very nice sunrise.
Getting darker.
Yeah, no.
I'm loving it. So I got soccer practice starts tonight. So the darker the better, as we like to say, as you're running around with 12 and 13-year-old boys.
Well, considering it's going to be 107 today or so.
Heat advisory, right, in Phoenix? Is that
115 up there, man.
This is what we call the great monsoon release. You know, where you get those 7 to 10 days of just pure hell as you're breaking out of the humidity into...
Just as we run to break here, John, I'm going to read you a statement. It talks about secondary market and job creation, that kind of thing, economic development.
All right.
Because we have to diversify away from just housing. Another chief executive officer bemoans the fact that economic development always becomes the catchword in times of stress for Tucson. We hear it from yet another group. Sit around and wait for a big company to come looking for Tucson, he says. It's getting old. He was refreshed to the newly organized Pima County Economic Development Council, spearheaded by Tucson Mayor Tom Volgy. Others are more hopeful. I'm getting a little tired of these groups, said another executive, but I'm willing to give it a try. Maybe this one will be different. Maybe this one will be effective. That was 1989.
I was going to say, yeah. I think I know when that was.
1989. And since then, we've had G-Tech, then Trio. We continue to be reliant too much on housing. Very important industry, very important driver for a lot of folks. But you have to have those secondary industries to allow people to qualify for mortgages to buy the products that the housing industry makes.
Well, let me speak to that. And did we want to take a break first?
Let's go pay some bills real quick.
All
We're
right.
running a little late. 6:47, 790-2040. We're hanging out with the Tucson's real estate guru, John Strobeck, orangereports.com. Bill number 2, we'll get to you right after break. 790-2040. Wake up, Tucson.
Intelligent Talk 24/7 on 1030 KVOI. The Voice. On the web at kvoi.com. Wake up, Tucson. Call Chris and Joe now at 790-2040.
Yes, really.
6:50 in the morning. Joe Higgins, Christopher DeSimone, Ed Alexander behind the glass, still breathing very comfortably on the other side of the glass. Very good. Going to roast our tails off for the next 2 weeks, so don't complain, folks. You'll be fine by Labor Day when the first college football game starts. You'll be fine. 790-2040 with our real estate guru, John Strobeck.
Hey, we were talking before the break about 1989. We did a story, a 2-part series in Inside Tucson Business about the power brokers 22 years ago in 1989.
I read that. That was
Who are
interesting.
they? Where are they? What are they doing? When did we go right? When did we go wrong? When did the community take a right or left? Talk about economic development, trying to get the next big whiz-bang, huge company to come in here and save our fat from the fire. And it just doesn't ever seem to come together and materialize. Speaking of big fat companies, IBM was Fortune 3, the Fortune 500. They're number 3 at the time, back in the mid-'80s.
Yes.
Huge company.
Right.
You worked for IBM, and you were in the site selection world.
I did. I was with IBM for 30 years, and we were in Las Vegas, and I was the manager of the Las Vegas office for 7 years, and we were looking for a new site to move the San Jose operation, which is a huge operation of IBM, and we selected Tucson, Arizona as the place.
This would have been like 78, 79, right?
Yes.
Because we saw 5,000 people came in. We saw real estate values jump for 3 years, 13%, 20%, 30%. So we saw this huge influx of folks coming in and buying homes. You opened the plant out there on Rita
Road.
Right. And then what happened?
Well, first of all, we were coming around with people with no ties, by the way, and no white shirts. You wore anything but a white shirt and tie, and you called yourself Ventura Land and Development Company, and you bought up land, and we bought up a bunch of it from Mr. Hughes out there, you know, and so what we did is
Rita Ranch, right?
Rita Ranch. That's
now,
where
why is it named Rita Ranch?
Because Hughes's girlfriend was Rita Hayworth, and that's why he did that. Yeah.
Interesting.
So there you go, little Tucson history.
There you
I like that one.
But anyway, so we looked at it and we said, look, Tucson, Arizona, inexpensive labor, cheap land. Rents we had the lowest rental prices on the places that we rented in Tucson, Arizona, that we had in the entire IBM company.
And you know, San Jose, obviously high rent, high expensive, near the
5-6 times
Right.
what we paid here.
Right.
So we said, let's look at Tucson, Arizona. Good business climate in that time. All right, they're wanting us, so we came. Now, then we're moving along. We have plans to move San Jose to Tucson, Arizona. You think it's big out there when it quit? It was going to be 3 times that size.
15,000, 18. So 1987, big election for Tucson. Mayor Tom Volgy
Mr.
goes
Volgy
from city
came
council,
in.
jumps into
Yes.
to the mayor's office. He's a professor at the University of Arizona. And what happens after his election and what that council did? John?
Well, they started talking about, and we've heard some of this recently, nationally, an ad valorem tax, which means that you tax anything that's on a production line and you tax it, and you say, hey, if at this point in time you have to pay a tax on it, this point in time you have to pay a tax on it, and when it goes out you have to pay a tax on it. And IBM had a policy which said, if you put in an ad valorem tax or even threaten an ad valorem tax, we will leave. And nobody believed that they would leave. And nobody believed that. And that happened in 2 different places, Tucson, Arizona, and Boca Raton, Florida. Now, at this time, I happened to be in Boca Raton. All right, so I was there at that time. And what happened?
This was a vote by Tom Volgy, of course, was one of on the council and the running the mayor, but Brent Davis was one of the swing votes on that one when it came through.
Right.
They threatened IBM. They said, we're going to do this. IBM said, we'll move.
Right.
And they moved.
And they said, we're out of here.
Yeah.
And it didn't even take passing it. It didn't have to go into effect. If you talked about it, because IBM did not want that to happen, and they made it perfectly clear. And Joe, in my opinion, that is when Tucson changed from
that's the
positive
watershed
business
moment right
climate,
there.
as far as I'm concerned.
We're gonna agree
because
with
you had the opportunity to bring hundreds of ancillary industries into this area.
It could be a Raytheon Part 2 right now. You could have the entire, that could have spurred a whole nother tech. IBM had its
Could have made
days.
Raytheon look little.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's so often that we talk about this on the air, and we got to look at our context of history to determine where we're going tomorrow and what we're doing today, where this community gets to these great decisions, and they're right on the precipice of going one way or another, and we take that easy road, or we take that road that kind of shoots ourselves in the foot.
Can I give you a quick example?
Please do.
My little business here. I get a letter in the mail. You didn't pay your sales tax in June of 2001. I got it last month. I said, what? So I called to the people down in the city. What do you mean I didn't pay my sales tax in June of 2001? Well, we don't. Oh, wait a minute. That was June of 2011. But it says June of 2001, and you're charging interest from June of 2001. Yes. Okay. All right.
Let me get on that.
Yeah, that's 2011. Well, how much was it? Well, it was $214. Now, in May, we have an extra payment of $214,000. $214. I said, maybe you put my June bill and put the payment on May. Would you just take the payment off of May and put it onto June and we're square, right? No.
Oh, my gosh.
We have to refund that to you, and you have to pay it. And you have to write us a letter that says this is what happened.
And I need some Benny Hill music.
I got to get a supervisor on this one. No, it's so crazy. And again, we have these opportunities, and it comes back to leadership, and it comes back to who we put in these seats in these elected offices. John, that's what it's about. If you elect folks that understand the role of an IBM and the economic driver to your region and the driver to your housing market, and the driver to the rest of the entire community, you get things positive that happen. If we put folks in that don't get that or even understand how to spell business, there's 2 S's in it, by the way, you have a heck of a time.
That's right, there is.
You have a heck of a time ever having these dialogues.
Absolutely. And if you look at even what Steve Kosachik did recently with the 911, he approached that as a business problem. I loved seeing that.
Yep.
And in the very same way, it was covered up like it was a political problem.
Yep.
So, got 2 different things going, and that's what we have to get away from. We have to make this town business friendly.
Chris.
We must make it
Broken
business
record
friendly.
time, baby.
And then, of course, before I don't run out of time, Tom Volgy is the master of the Neighborhood Resources Department.
Yeah, that's when the neighborhoods really got their mojo going.
Right.
He's like the
that's
Grim
what-
Reaper of economic development,
Well,
Tom
I mean,
Volgy.
if you're a think tank professor that's running the country, running the city, what do you think you get? You try to put these systems in place that keep the folks elected for
Well, the good
next
thing
generation.
in America, we've never taken a professor and made him president. Oh, we did that already. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mayor of Tucson, president of the U.S. Strobeck just finally got that job.
OrangeReports.com. John Strobeck again. Thank you, my friend. Great job as always.
Wonderful to be here with you guys, even though I'm a day late.
That's all right. Good. Best of luck, and make sure you get your sales tax applied to the right month.
Yes,
Exactly.
I know.
1030 KVOI, Cortero, Tucson. 930 KAPR Douglas. And 1240 KJAA Globe, the Voice Radio Network.